Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing a breakdown of the version of Oh Christmas Tree that I played on my Instagram a couple of days ago. Some of you have been asking me to do a breakdown on that, so we're going to talk about my approach for reharmonizing this tune and constructing different voicings. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's take a look. We're starting on 1. And I just have a nice open position F triad, right? Root 5, 3, and then the melody. And I'm moving diatonically, I'm moving stepwise with my bottom 3 notes. Just moving up to the next note in the F major scale. And that gives us this G minor 7. My melody stays the same. And then my thought with this passing chord is that I want to go from here to here. So for me, what comes to mind is this harmony. And you could consider that F half diminished 7. You could consider that A flat minor 6. Either way, I just see it as somewhat of a checkerboard that kind of gets between these two places. And I think part of that is because there's some diminished intervals and there's also some good resolution happening. So there's half step resolution, both with the root and then this inner voice here. And we have the E flat remaining between both of them. It's a common tone. The melody is moving up and then more parallel motion. And next in the version that I played on Instagram, I went here. And so this chord that we're going to after the A flat half diminished, similar to this one, it's an approach for one of the stronger moments of our melody. And so I'm thinking about those main movements with the root, and I'm just using every note in the melody of the tune as an opportunity to change chords in a way that supports the momentum of the tune and the motion. So what I'm doing here is I'm using a half step resolution, or you can also totally think of it as a tritone substitution, going to the 5 of 2, which is the 6 in F, but we're just thinking about everything in terms of 5/1s. 5/1 movement. So I'm moving with this tritone sub, because if I approach here and my melody lines up such that this is my melody note and this is how I'm approaching this 5, right? This 5 of 2. I'm noticing that this is a common tone. This A is a common tone in one of the upper triadic structures of E flat dominant 7, and that is based on the 9. So there's my 9, right? It's the F. And I'm putting it in a second inversion and voicing that along with the root, the 3rd, and the minor 7th. So these are the guide tones of my E flat dominant. And then this is my upper triadic structure that I'm imposing. And there's this nice positive dissonance that I really like there. So what I'm doing is I'm going from this tritone sub down to this D7 altered, right? So I have my D7 guide tones in here, but I also have a flat 13, I have a sharp 9, and I have the melody note. So what I'm doing there is from the 5, this next note in the melody, I'm using another approach. I'm using a tritone sub as well, or half step resolution, dominant resolution. Getting to, because again, I'm thinking everything in terms of 5-1. So if I'm thinking 5 to 1, then I can do a tritone sub of my 5, and that's going to be A flat. And then upper structure, again, from this time from A flat, I have based on the 13, right? So that's one of our triadic upper structures of the dominant is the 13. And I have it in second inversion. And I'm just voicing root and 7th in my left hand. And those move down chromatically. And I can take my right hand and just move from a triad down to a triad. And I have this nice open position voicing of the G minor 7. And I can move back up. Left hand is just moving. Right hand is moving. They're both just moving along the scale. I can do this B flat, kind of a quartal voicing. And then we're doing this because we're leading to the dominant of our key, right? Right, that's our motion. And we're just adding notes to fill it out. A lot of different things you can do there. This is just one of them. And then you can resolve this a number of different ways. You can even use a tritone sub from, again, 5 to 1, 5, tritone sub of 5 down to 1. And that's kind of a common theme here, is we're doing a lot of tritone subs whenever there's a spare melody note to use. Right, and I'm doing another altered voicing here, and this is thinking about the G flat 7 dominant, but I'm using the 9th. I'm omitting the 3rd in this case, and I have the sharp 11, and I also have right here the flat 9, because that's our melody. Another thing you can do, another option is you can do, and that's just all over F. And what that is this diminished resolution. And I tend to associate this sound with When You Wish Upon a Star. Right? It's that nice, sweet, chimey sort of sound. And all that is we're thinking of a major 6th voicing, and we're having this diminished resolution here. It's just a nice little bit of inner voice movement you can add. So I'm just doing that over here in F with our melody, right? And I'm using my left hand to give this chromatic ornamentation. And then my right hand. And then I think in the version I played on Instagram, I went to the 5. But you can approach that different ways. You can go up and down in this half step, right? Because it's a tritone sub of the 5. But something about this kind of close voicing down here just sounds nice to me. So that's what I did, I think. And then I'll take it a step further and add another chord to this note of this second part of the melody, the second repetition. So instead of, I'm thinking, right? So I can add another substitution here. I can do this tritone sub, and I can play this altered, and I can resolve it to a major 7. I can also resolve it to this quartal thing where I have the 6, I have the 9, I have the 5, and I have the 1. Same thing. And what I did there is I added, this is another option, you can add another passing chord for your melody. So I have, and instead of going right to this upper structure like we did last time, I approached this upper structure with its own passing approach, which is this. And I think what you're seeing is that this is approaches built on approaches, built on approaches, built on approaches, right? It's just an infinite chain of approaches to the central chords of your tune. So I'm doing, I have this E half diminished 7, I have a 9, and I have the 11 as well. And the reason I'm going to this one is it's just more of an instinctive thing. You can think of it as half step resolution that we're following and harmonizing. It just feels right to go there. So that's one thing you can do. And then, so another upper structure, and I'm using a passing chord again, this tritone sub, and upper structure is I'm thinking about, well, a couple of things. I'm thinking about 13. I'm also thinking about the sharp 4, because there's a common tone, but mostly just because it sounds nice going there. And I'll show you another thing you can do. Instead of going to G minor, what you can do is you can go to this G13, and then you get an opportunity for another inner voice movement and some resolution. So I can go, right? So what I can do is I can follow this with a note change in my left hand. And I can do a minor major 7 thing, kind of similar to the diminished that we did, or I can do that diminished, or I can do this tritone sub, right? A lot of different ways I can approach it. They all kind of do the same thing. If you have some tension that moves to a resolution, and it's about your own personal preference and what you want to do. But I like this option because it gives us one more place to go. And then so for this B section, what I'm doing is I'm starting it here on this A minor 7 flat 5, this A minor half diminished 7, and I'm approaching there like I did previously, where I went from the 1 to the 5, except instead of going back to the 1, what I'm doing is I'm walking down to the 4 dominant. I'm playing this as a 5-7 chord because it just kind of sounds nice. It's another half step resolution, and that works pretty well. And then upper structure. This is one we've built thinking about the 9. And then we're thinking about flat 13 here, right? So flat 13 with D, B flat. We have a common tone in our melody. And then another altered dominant. And I can go. But what I can also do is I'm going to add some more notes to it. So what I'm going to do is this nice G minor voicing, and then drop 2 into an altered dominant. And so I'm just following this note with harmony in between this approach tone, right? This is really kind of a drop 2 idea. All right, because I would have this and I'm dropping that one. And I have the root over it. And then melody note stays the same. And left hand note moves up to our D7. And these notes in between move from part of this diminished to now part of this altered dominant. And then in the version I played on my Instagram, I did something like this move. And all that is just moving with 6th chromatically up to 3 and flat 9 of our dominant chord. Kind of imply that and give something to push us back to the second half of this melodic phrase, right? So here's another thing you can do. And all that is it's an ornamentation where you use your middle finger on E flat, drag it to D, and then index finger on D flat, and then down to C. And it's a great way to get 2 notes for the price of 1. And it also is related to this idea that we're embellishing here, right? Of this alteration and this important tone in our dominant chord. So adopt that if you would like. And then our next part, right? I have what's standard, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach it. Same thing. I'm using every moment in the melody as an opportunity to approach a strong beat or a strong chord. Tritone sub going into this G minor, and I have this A flat 7 voicing, down a 7 voicing, and it resolves real nice to the G minor. And then I can approach my my C, right? Because I'm going to 5, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. And I'm gonna go drop 2 again, and then upper structures, right? So I'm thinking flat 13 for C, flat 13 triad and second inversion, and sharp 11 triad is another one, the dominant upper structures. And I can add more motion to that. I can just transpose this whole voicing down, because now it's an upper structure for B flat dominant. Back to this F add 9. Oh, and that little thing that I did is just it's a nice chromatic ornamentation that you can use if you like. That's pretty much it. The ending that I did in the version I posted to my Instagram, I did this really simple this thing here, the C triad, because it kind of leaves it open so that I can come in with this, and this is a really simple ending you can add to just about any tune. And I'm going up a half step from my root that I'm going to resolve to, and I'm playing this chordal major 7 voicing open, and I just have some tones, and it just resolves nicely. And in the version on Instagram, I arpeggiated this, just moving up the keyboard, right? So that's pretty much it. All right, well, I hope that this was helpful, and if there is some other way of explaining or some other type of visual that would be maybe more helpful than this, please let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to accommodate that in my next breakdown. But you can follow me on Instagram at LukeAngeloMusic. That's where I post things first. And then also you can hit a follow here on my YouTube channel. This is where I'll be posting all my long form content and breakdowns and other things like that. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. Thank you.